The only way to actually get started, though, is I have to hit buttons. And that's difficult.
I don't know how you guys.
And we're live.
Last week.
How did we manage last week? Did you listen to last week's?
Of course I listened. Because I account for probably, I don't know, 50% of all of our views.
Complete views.
Yeah. And listens on iTunes podcasts. Yes, hello, welcome. We are Pixel Pints. We are the only global podcast that talks about two things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. We're not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. And any beers or breweries or games companies or anyone else associated with the games industry aren't sponsoring us. And this is all completely free for your earballs. Someone approached me on Instagram, said, do you want us to help monetizing your YouTube channel? And then pretty much when I didn't respond within 5 seconds, they sent me another message saying, "Are you interested?" And I said, "I'm thinking about it." And they said, "What's there to think about?" And I said, "Oh, fuck off." There you go. That's.
Was it
think on that.
Was it a butt cream sponsor? Was that what it was? And that's the 5 seconds you needed to think of. Do we want to sponsor butt cream?
Well, no, it's really weird. Instagram keeps sending me things saying, "Do you want? And will you?" We're a jewelry company. Do you want to sponsor us? So if
so it's crazy.
Blatantly a scam.
Well, yeah, scam / like they do that all the time to like people that have really nice pictures on Instagram. They'll be like, you're like a really good looking, let's like sponsor you, have our clothing with your shirts and stuff, and all you have to do is just put our name and stuff. It's just like, no.
Yeah, but we post game photos, some snippets of me playing Apex Legends and cans of beer. How does that link with jewelry? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, hey Keith, you want to hear a cool story from last night about Apex Legends? I ran into a producer from Respawn who works on Apex Legends, and he was on a date. He saw us from Naughty Dog, and like he literally ignored his date for the rest of the night and tried to talk and network with us while he was still on his date. It was so bad. I felt bad for the woman, but basically like we hung out with her too and like basically talked with her, and then it was a horrible day. It was a horrible date.
Why even bother going? Anyway, right. So all the talk about Instagram. Yes, we do have an Instagram, which is Pixel Pints Pod, where you will see photographs of mainly beer. And we also have a Twitter, which is @Pixel_Pints, where we don't tweet that much because Twitter is apparently not very good. TikTok is where it's at now.
Yeah, right. We got to start learning the dances, right?
Yeah, so we've got to get online, all learn the same dance. Well, maybe Corey can give us some tips. I've heard he's a big TikTok sensation.
He's got no podcast to do no more.
Yeah, he's got time.
He's got time. He's got time on his hands. He can help us out. And we could be the only podcast from around the globe that would do a TikTok dance together.
Yeah. Oh, we should set it up.
Heck yeah.
Is it if we're really nice, maybe even Evan will get his arse out.
Maybe we can make our own dance and involve a controller. Because we gamers.
Yeah, well, let's see. This is starting to get a bit too complicated. Mitch, how are things in LA?
Very good. Fortunately, I sprained my wrist, but it's getting better. I can now actually...
You know who doesn't have to worry about spraining wrist playing tennis?
Serena Williams?
Novak Djokovic.
Oh, yeah, because he's not playing. I was like, Serena, but she's playing one more tournament this weekend. Starting Monday. It's one of her last matches. Hopefully she goes all the way, because I'd love to see her, like, go out on top with tying Margaret Court for the most slams ever, open era.
What, most singles?
Yeah, single
Isn't
slams.
Margaret
Yeah,
Court?
yeah, yeah. But
Because Serena's already ahead in terms of
true.
doubles.
That's true.
Um,
And then I'm just excited for next Friday. Like I'm excited for everyone to experience The Last of Us Part 1. Like and we
I won't be playing it
I
because I
know.
don't have a PS5 and I
But we
won't be in the country. So
but we just shared on the
it's
place
not a big deal for me, really.
right. But we just shared on the
So
PlayStation.
hasn't everyone already played it anyway? Do we? I mean,
I can't say anything about that.
we're retreading on ground. Everyone
I'm
knows
not
the
saying
story.
anything about that.
Same,
I'm
it's the
just
same thing
excited.
over
I'm just
again.
excited because we just announced yesterday all our accessibility features on The Last of Us Part 1, and it's going to be amazing for players who had never been able to play the first Last of Us to be able to experience that, including players who have motor constraints, vision, hearing. That's like we're one of the only franchises that will allow you to play an entire series of video games if you have certain disabilities, and that's just like it's one of its kind, and I'm happy to be a part of that process.
Sony really are leading the way in their in-game accessibility features. All they need to do now is catch up in terms of the adaptive controller that Microsoft's got, and they'll be ahead again. Yes, there is conspicuous by his absence. Mikey Novak will be joining us soon. He's currently not doing the podcast because he's riding a motorcycle, and that would be irresponsible for him to be podcasting and riding at the same time.
And irresponsible of us to be promoting it.
Yeah, well, we don't get monetized, so I suppose we can be irresponsible. It's not like we're going to get sued by anyone.
We're influential. Come on.
Or not.
We're influential to the kids. That's who we're implementing. We have proof. We're influential to the children.
Partially. Well, at least we can get them to understand what archiving means. Yes, we are here this week to talk about all things happening opening night live at Gamescom, the snorefest that it was. My God, am I glad that I did not watch that live. That's my capsule review. We'll get into detail later.
I was glad I was at work.
But first, we'll quickly do beers. Mikey will not. I'm hoping doesn't have a beer whilst riding a bike.
That's illegal. That's very illegal.
100%. Even low alcohol. So I have a classic Spitfire Kentish Amber Ale from Shepherd Neame. This stuff's great. It's massively, massively hoppy. Because it's from Kent, which is the Garden of England, and they grow tons of hops there. Now, I'm not going to do an Evan pour on this one because this isn't particularly carbonated anyway, so you don't need to do that. And also, I've got a wide rim glass.
Nice.
So
There you go.
can let the carbonation out.
There you go.
It.
There you go.
Yeah, this stuff's amazing. And I've got a couple of low alcohols and some water because it's too bloody hot here again. It's nothing like 37 degrees. It's only 27 today, but still.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did.
I haven't had a Spitfire in years.
So usually we talk about beer, but I had something called. I had a really good whiskey. It was called Screwball. It's a peanut butter whiskey.
That's not really good whiskey. I thought you were going somewhere very different.
It tasted fantastic. Like it was smooth like a whiskey, but it just tastes purely like peanut butter. So good. So good.
Absolutely minging.
Oh, I loved it. Oh, it's fantastic. So I know we're talking about beer, but that was just something I had recently. I've been out a lot the last couple of days, so I am just going energy drink, and I'm tired.
If you are going out and you fancy drinking something that's somewhat like that but nicer, you can. I don't know if they'd actually know the cocktail, but when I had it, it was called a Miami Cobbler, and it was vanilla vodka, Baileys, and toffee liqueur. You only want one.
Okay.
But oh my God, it's nice.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
It's like drinking alcoholic ice cream.
Whoa. Okay. Now I'm curious. Okay. So yeah, I'm just doing a um so it's a running thing. There's like we have this energy drink that you can get at Target only called Alani. It's like this one's
Is this a
Cosmic.
different flavor?
There's many different flavors. This one's called Cosmic Stardust and literally tastes like Skittles. But what the thing is there's like a running joke around the office about Alani being like once you have it, you can't have Red Bull anymore. Like it's just so good. It tastes better than any kind of Red Bull that like it's a cult. It's turned into a cult of Alani, of just please drink Alani. So we're all just drinking Alani. It's hilarious. I
I
love it.
suppose if you have shares in it, you
I wish
get some.
I get some shares. I like it. Super good. But anyway, no, that's what I'm drinking because I just need to stay awake.
Right, let's get straight into it because Gamescom opening night live was packed with announcements.
Not only that, Geoff Keighly was on the show.
There's over 40 announcements. They were handing out awards for no bloody reason.
Do you remember if he had socks on or not? I didn't get to catch.
Covered it. He had high ankle shoes and
Damn.
trousers, so he's hiding it.
I just saw the announcements. I didn't watch all excuse me, the whole show, so
I watched the whole show earlier, and I've forgotten some of the stuff that I've written down. I just quickly glanced at the 40 announcements that I made. Like, I don't remember that game at all.
that's why I have Google next to me just to double check.
That's why sometimes you can pack too much into a showing.
Mm-hmm. There is such thing.
So I think Geoff, you did too much there. There was actually nothing really stood out. Even the ones that tried to hype up were kind of lost in this sea of CG trailers. Let's go through in order.
Okay.
So the show opened up with Geoff being very excited about being back in Europe. Everywhere. What? We want to make the game for gamers, but we're not entirely sure if we can articulate what that means. And then he flat out asked the lead producer, I think it was the lead producer, so what is it? And he didn't answer the question. I was just thinking, this is your big chance to explain what Everywhere is, and you can't. You can't explain what your game is.
Well, usually you have something prepared, like a pre-prepared statement of being like, this is the points I want to get across on stage. And then like, obviously there is some, like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's some touch and go in regards to like the banter and the play that Keighley can do to like try to get more info, because like he can get people on the stage to like say more than maybe they were planning on originally. It happens. So like I can see, I was surprised that it was just so weird. It's almost like they didn't know the pitch for their own game.
Yeah.
It's like,
so
dude, you don't have a document with the pitch on there? Like, do you need it?
We've built a game, but we can't exactly tell you what it is because it could be every game ever. So
did he like, honestly, he should have just said, is it the next Dreams? Because
this is what it is. This is what it could be. That's what it seemed to me, but it just seemed
right. That's what I thought.
Seeing your beer cozy, which is not used for beer.
No, I'm sorry. It's a koozie. It's not a cozy. No, it's not. It's a koozie.
Lee from the Lights Camera Rants podcast, based in Melbourne, Australia, got in touch to say he'd listened to the podcast where we were talking about beer cozies. Stubby holders is
stubby holders.
In Australia.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Your cans of beer, the smaller ones, because your beer will get hot quickly, so they're normally stubby cans, so you get stubby holders. And I should have known that.
Interesting. Okay.
So everywhere. Where are we on Everywhere?
We are.
I'm nowhere on it. Absolutely nowhere.
I'm lost. I'm
How can you
lost.
get you're lost in everywhere. That's great. So I'm nowhere with everywhere, and you're lost in everywhere.
Is this the sequel to Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Possibly. You could probably is it a game building game? Is it like
I
Dreams?
don't know. That's the crazy part. It's like, at least when Dreams first announced itself, you kind of could tell, because what they did was like a mini, like, the trailer itself was like an example of what the game was. It was like a band or something, and you're like, oh yeah, you could make this in Dreams. And you're like, okay, I see what you got. You got sound design here, you got animation here, you got to build the character creation art here, like, and you got camera work here. So like, that makes sense. Like, oh, all that you can do in Dreams, therefore you're literally just making a game, and we're giving you tools to make a game. Cool, makes sense. This guy is just like, if it's like you can make anything you want, or like it's making, because like he's saying, he didn't even say like if you're making a game, he just said like it's everything. It's like,
we're building a game that we hope gamers will love to enjoy.
But it's like,
okay,
are you building games? Are you building movies? Are you building shows? I don't know what you're building with the game.
Yes, so that was a completely piss poor start.
Right.
And then moving on to the first of many CG trailers, which was the June survival MMO, to which I wrote, no thank you.
Well, Dan's very excited about that.
Yeah, well, I've actually put down on some of these.
MMO? I thought this one was the RTS.
No, this was the MMO.
Oh, so these are two different games.
Two different games. There's the one they showed the CG trailer for was a survival MMO.
That's right, because the other one, the RTS was on mobile, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's right. It was another one of your Star Wars. I'm really excited about that game. Hey Keith, it's on mobile. Never mind.
Yeah.
But I think though, like, interesting enough, Dune is a very interesting like property. Especially after that movie. I think what's the director's name?
I can't remember.
Villeneuve or whatever. But anyway, I think he did an amazing job, really, of like making that world seem more fascinating than it really is. And I think I would play MMO in that space. Like, that is a good setting to put an MMO. You have already a conflict between two warring races. You also have like political intrigue. Like, I think there's a lot to work with. So like, I'm curious.
You've missed the troubling word in that, which is survival.
That's
so you're
new.
going to be.
I know, but like that's new, and I like that. That's different.
Yes, I do.
Now, if you say survival, and it's like No Man's Sky survival, people are going to be upset. But it depends.
It's going to be harvesting, and
I'm open to it.
You need to be able to drink. So where do you drink? That would be interesting, because you
need water.
Is there going to be a button to pee into your suit and then drink through the little nozzle? Could be. There's an idea. There you go.
Well, it's the upgraded pee mechanic from what's that game? Death Stranding.
or Duke Nukem. So next up, are there any PlayStation fans here? That's quite possibly some of the most muted crowd as well. Some of them are just going, do you remember Homeland? And everyone's... So the big PlayStation announcement, which I wrote down, are they going to announce the price increase in Europe and the UK? That would have been funny.
Hilarious enough right after I buy my own PlayStation 5.
Yeah, so it's the DualSense Edge, which, if you want to know more about it, fuck off to PlayStation's website and read it on there. So that nothing about the features other than it looks like a bit like a Xbox Elite controller, but as a DualSense.
I will say I do like that matte black by the sticks. Like, you do have that kind of already on the original DualSense, but I think it doesn't show up as well without that like edge. So, and I also like it. It looks like there's like pokey things coming out under the sticks. I like that too. But
Well, there'd be trigger locks.
right,
Well, it means that you can tighten up the torsion and the same as you can on the Elite, so you can adjust the tension on the sticks.
yeah, and I think for a first go at, it seems like they are tackling the right things. Because I think they even offer some settings you don't get on the Xbox Elite controller, which is, if I remember on the back, you're able to do like,
Decent rumble features.
yep,
Haptic feedback.
you're also able to adjust volume settings, and that's interesting.
Mikey, yes, you have your finger raised. Are you going to do a smash and grab?
No, I'm going to tell you that I have to not participate because my throttle cable broke while I was driving down the road. So I am currently stranded halfway between home and my destination. So I'm going to have to work on that and find a way home. If I can join, I will, but I'm not making any promises. So
Good luck, Mikey. Take care.
You have terrible luck, mate. Catch you later.
Catch you later.
Then we went into the Callisto Protocol again.
That game is looking good.
Yes.
And not only is it looking good, Dead Space better be worried, because if this is good, if this is as good as it's looking, like, I don't know if people will buy Dead Space, or they might really harsh it. Like, Callisto Protocol actually has a serious advantage right now by going first. It was basically whoever's going to go first is setting a bar, and if the other game doesn't match it, it's going to not do very well.
It was interesting as well that because of the comparisons with Dead Space, they came out and specifically said, or Geoff specifically asked the question, was that you had dismemberment of limbs and stuff in Dead Space. What have you brought to this game? And there was the mutations that they were talking about.
Yeah.
So, and then they showed in the trailer. So previously, in zombie games, you get a headshot, it's all good.
It's all
this
good.
One, you
Classic Resident Evil.
You blew someone's head clean off. They kept fighting, and then grew a new head.
And I don't think that's totally original, but it's cool still.
It's not,
because like Resident Evil 4 did that back in the day, and it's still cool.
Dead Space,
right, for sure. Yeah, agreed.
They're showing the differentiation between the two. I don't think anyone needs to see any more of this.
No, but I think they could keep showing like little snippets of it, because like literally, when we think about it, we really haven't seen very much to almost anything of this game. Like, this is one of the smartest. This is when you do smart marketing, is when you show enough that everyone knows what the game is, but you feel like they didn't show everything, and they barely have shown anything. Like, if you look at how much footage they've shown, they've only shown
5 minutes in total.
5 minutes total, but we know exactly what we're getting out of this experience, and there's going to be plenty of surprises. The fact that there's mutations with these creatures, who knows? Like, maybe we get a new weapon. And, like, they have shown the differences. Like, they're focused on some melee combat, too. Like, you have a stick that you can saw them off with or hit them in the face with. The environments are destructible in regards to, like, using them as weapons to, like, push them into running saw blades and stuff. Like, I think they're really showing uniqueness in a short amount of time, and that's brilliant. Great marketing.
Whoever headed up the health and safety department on this space station should be fired, because there are hazards everywhere.
Well, isn't it a prison? They usually don't give a shit about the prisoners.
Right. A society is judged, or should be judged, on how it treats its prisoners. I can't remember who.
If this takes place in America, which I don't think it does, we don't give a shit about prisoners, I guess.
No, so we'll just say we are both excited for the Callisto Protocol. I think
that's a great December game. It's got its own window to itself. I think it's gonna do great.
Yeah, and I know Evan is particularly excited about that as well. He can get his sci-fi horror schlock going.
He's gonna pay full price for it.
Of course he is. So next up, CG trailer. The Lords of the Fallen. Don't forget
I should have made a tab where it's like, every time you say CG trailer, I'm just gonna put a tally down.
Ding.
Ding.
Yep. I've got no idea what this game is meant to be. I've not played Lords of the Fallen Lords of the Fallen 2,
Yeah,
if there was
I,
two.
to my knowledge, all I know about the series is it's literally a Dark Souls like game, and it was
Yes.
like
So
one.
there's
It's one of the very few that like came out after Demon Souls, but didn't master the formula. It was like okay, so
okay.
have a shot
There's a
at
game
it.
I'm never going to play.
I mean, have a shot at it. Who knows? I mean, the Souls like game is more popular than ever before. Go for it.
Yeah, so much so that we got a Pinocchio themed one.
Oh,
Get
that
to
one
that
looks
later.
sick. Okay, we'll get to that, but I'm excited for that one, bro. That looks
So
great.
next up was Moving Out 2. Whatever, move on.
Those are fun
Hogwarts.
Those are fun little games.
Yeah, it's kind of.
They're good party games. It's like okay, just really quick because I know you want to move on from it, and I'm fine moving on from it. But
I
like
like
those,
overcooked and things like that. So
yeah,
things in that genre.
and for a person like me, like when I moved out to LA, like I left a lot of my friends. Like actually, sorry, I left all my friends because I have to make new ones here. So I left all my friends out when I left, and like those are the types of games we can still play together that like we really enjoy. So like I do love those, and then adding online multiplayer is huge because again, it allows me to play with my friends like halfway across the country, and I think that's really special. Like we're playing It Takes Two, and we love it because it's like it's a good deep multiplayer game that's story driven and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I gotta play Splatoon later today too. I forgot that's the shoot, Splatfest right now. Damn it.
Is
Okay.
it?
Yeah, I was gonna play
So
today.
You have to play it.
I know. I'm really excited to play it. So yeah.
You don't have to play it. Don't do it.
No,
If you don't
I want to.
don't do it.
I want to.
Particularly one-handed. You can't play Splatoon one-handed.
No. Again, I can play on a controller right now. It's all good. I'm good.
Okay, so next up, Hogwarts Legacy. There's a new trailer. It looked like it was all gameplay. But particularly liked the. You can get the deluxe edition right at the end. Love that. I love plug-in deluxe editions. Did you see the other thing that they released? The £250 $250 collector's edition.
It's ridiculous.
So you're not hot on Hogwarts Legacy.
I'm really not hot on Hogwarts Legacy. Well, even the trailer didn't look very good. It's like the oh my god, like, and I don't mean this as like a diss to the developer because like I know how hard devs work on projects, and I know like they believe in their projects they do, and we all want our projects to do well, but it's just like the trailer on this one was just bad. Like the editing was horrible. I could barely tell what was happening on screen half the time. It's like, and also they're being so mischievous about everything with that section. Like, show me some combat for God's sakes. They're like, I'll show you like 2 spells that take 2 seconds. It's like, why don't you do like half a mission, or why don't you like in the trailer have them walk up and actually start engaging in more combat, or in the story part to like hear a little more of the dialogue, because I couldn't tell from that trailer. Because tell me if I'm wrong, Keith. I had to read the description of this trailer to understand what the hell was going on, which is the trailer was trying to tell the player, you have to make a choice. You're going to like meet this character. This is a character side mission to earn their trust or not, and whether you want to take part in dark arts. I never got any of that from that whole trailer.
Oh, I did.
Before reading the description?
Yeah.
I didn't.
And I watched it at 2 times speed as well to whiz through all this.
I did not get that at all. I was...
Yeah, I just... Harry Potter's kind of... maybe I'm too old. The whole thing's just kind of... Yeah, whatever. I'm not overly bothered about it.
I'm not overly bothered about it. I just don't think it's going to... I think it's going to stumble more than it's going to, like... It's not going to break records, but it's probably going to do okay. Like for how it should do better, and I don't think it'll do that.
I don't how. I get what they were trying to show. They're going to try and show this isn't just going to be some kind of happy clappy wizard game.
And I like that.
Yeah, you've got to try and make some difficult choices Like, do you want to learn the spell that tortures people, or do you want to have the spell used on you? But then, what's the context for it?
The Cartiatus curse or whatever.
Yeah, Cruciatus.
There we go. Yeah, Cruciatus curse. But no, I get.
But I don't understand. I don't understand the context of, you've got this person saying you shouldn't dabble in the dark arts, and then it seems like you've got to do it anyway. So I'm guessing this is going to be part of the main story.
It just
and then you've got a binary choice of, I either learn it or don't learn it. But at the moment, we've got no idea how that impacts the story ongoing.
And also the weird part about it too is like trying to think about it, because like here's the issue: like they're not doing a very good job of like sharing how this all works. Like we've seen how the world is, but like how does this work story wise? Because if I'm thinking about this, like I don't know I can't tell what's the word I'm looking for. I can't tell what kind of theme they're going for. You know, like so like, did you see all the Harry Potter movies?
Are you thinking? Are you thinking the tone of the game?
Yes, but like kinda. Like, have you seen all the movies or read the books or anything? Yeah. Okay,
I've seen the movies. I'm not reading the books.
Gotcha.
I tried reading the first one and got bored.
So when you read so when you see the movies, it's like a tonality wise, it's very like the first couple films are very like kiddish and like haha and haha and like, oh, it's a troll, like, oh no, it's a troll, but we're gonna kill it. But then like all of a sudden it gets super dark, right? But these guys are supposed to be like teenagers. I'm not sure if they're going for that same kind of tone of being like, he's a teenager, but oh my god, he's going to have to make adult decisions. And I'm just not sure if that's what they're going for, because they've shown both. They've shown like the happy-go-lucky, and then with like magic spells where they like seem all joyous while they're casting them. But then we have this like dark arts section where it seems like this is meant to be like dark and rough and be like, do you want to dabble in the dark arts of like being super? And it's like, I think it's because I need another trailer. I need a trailer to like tell me the tonality of the plot. Like, we know what the plot actually is, but I just can't tell what the tone is, and that's throwing me off.
Yeah, and you've got this fantastic beasts element where you've got your animals and you've got your zoo you can look after.
Don't bring those up. Don't bring those movies up.
I like the first one.
The first one was okay, but oh my god, the latest one was so bad. Oh, yeah, it's just like, it's like, and here's and this is the issue. Like, sorry, last thing of like Harry Potter. I grew up on Harry Potter. I'm a huge, like, as a kid, I loved Harry Potter. And, like, my best friends from back home love Harry Potter, like, back in Minnesota. We're watching these films, and we're like, God, this is fucking garbage. I don't even want to, like, our enthusiasm for Harry Potter. Like, if this game came out, like, 5 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, let's go for it. But, like, with everything happening, it's not just the J.K. Rowling thing. It's not just, like, it's the franchise itself has lost its magic. Like, if they came out with, because, like, if you didn't know, like, right now, Universal still owns the rights to Harry Potter for, like, 1 more year or something like that. So Warner Brothers can't produce any shows without giving them to Universal because they own the distribution rights. But, like, as soon as that's done, bet you $100 they're going to start making, like, Harry Potter shows, Wizarding World shows, and, like, do I want to watch that? I'm not as enthusiastic about it at all, because Harry Potter has died away, unfortunately. And it's just, I'm very curious on the reaction in the future in this area. Rant over. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully you get what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know.
what I'm going to... This is going to come out. Millions of people will buy it, I think. And they're going to have a great time. Yeah. And
good for them.
I'm not going to care.
Yep, good for them. Like, I will probably check out the reviews, see how it mechanically works in the plot, but it's like, I was listening to another podcast and they brought up, like, you know, a lot of these, like, magical creatures represent stereotypes of different things, like Gringotts. It's like, I'm not even gonna go there, but it's just the way they're structuring the plot right now is putting them in deep trouble if people read into it, and it's unfortunate because, like, it's like, you shouldn't be doing that. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to read into very much of Harry Potter anything. Talking about that, talking about people you shouldn't read into, this is a very terrible segue. Then we've got Randy Bobandy, coming dressed like a musician, from a terrible 70s band, or maybe a magician because he's into magic. To which I wrote down, do we need any more Borderlands? And I wonder what porn Randy may have left in the hotel.
And I also wonder how many more. Did their last game sell well at all?
No, it didn't. Borderlands 3 did not sell well.
And then they had another one after that, Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yep, that did not sell well either.
And
they're totally different. It's not Borderlands, it's Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
It's totally Borderlands. And then, well, I mean, I get why they would release this one, because like the project's basically done. So like you're gonna have to put it out regardless, even if you're having bad sales in other games. But it will be interesting to see what happens after this, because it seems the enthusiasm for Borderlands has died. Well, it's because they also waited way too long between two and 3, so like the hype was lost. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm just not interested.
Didn't they also like leave 2K? So like they're on their own. Like
yeah, this is their own project.
Yeah, they're on their own now, and they're struggling to get off the ground. Like I fear for that studio, because I think there is talent there. There's some serious talent there, and I really wish they would. I think they need to come up with something new, and and it's easy for like people don't understand sometimes. New IPs are extremely risky. They're some of the riskiest things you can do in the games industry. Like you have to re-educate an entire audience, and you have to come with something unique, and that is not easy. Especially when you have tool sets, engines already set up where it already makes certain tool sets. Like you have to remake a lot of things from scratch when you start a new IP, because you want mechanics to be different too. And it's just a lot of money to put into that. So I say it with knowing what goes into it, and I'm just saying they need to start over with something else. Like it's we can't go down this path no more.
Well, it'd be interesting to see the difference between what they're doing now and what they did with Telltale, because the previous Tales of the Borderlands games are a Telltale game, and this is their own one.
Yeah, but it still has, like, to me, it still has their vibe, and I don't. And maybe that's just the studio vibe they are going for every product, but it's just not my style.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm just not their customer, and I'm fine with that. I don't have to be everyone's customer.
Not interested. So moving on to something else, Dying Light 2 DLC, some arena fighter thing.
No interest.
Whatever.
I mean, to be honest, I did not like the first Dying Light. I know a lot of people like it. Good for you, everyone else, for enjoying it. It's just not my cup of tea. So I did not buy Dying Light 2, and I don't plan on buying it unless it's like free. Then I'll play it, but I don't have any plans on playing it. So those people can enjoy it. Heard good things. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and then next was Tortuga, which I wrote down Skull and Bones RTS. So maybe that's a Dan game.
Dan, where's my damn? We need a Dan tally too. Any RTS, just Dan tally.
And then so we had,
or we should have pre-recordings of Dan, and you're like, Dan, what do you have to say about this? And then I just pop up a recording of him speaking about just the one title, and that's it.
Or just him saying, yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and he's our RTS consultant. Like, now going to our RTS consultant. Dan, what do you have to say about this title? I really like it.
Really excited for it.
Now I really want to get that recording. Damn it. That's going to be great if I could get one.
So up next, CG trailer. Ding. Destiny 2 Lightfall. Terrible name.
Okay, here's my...
Small Destiny 2.
You want my beef about Destiny? You want my beef?
I will take your beef with Destiny.
Okay, here we go. Problem with Destiny. It is unapproachable for new players. Entirely unapproachable. Like, they have changed the story so much. If you buy the game, the beginning of the game no longer exists because they reworked everything because how the plot lines worked out is like it rewrote history or whatever. So it is almost completely unapproachable to new players. Why would I care?
Yeah, the gameplay is good. I've got no interest in going back and playing through Destiny more.
No.
Is that the grind really got to me after a while, doing all of the
I really want to see
things
something
over and over again.
Yeah, and I just want to see something.
Says the guy who plays Battle Royale games, but that's different because you know the game loop, whereas this is just go over here, shoot some stuff, pick up loot, all your loot shit, go and break it down to try and get better loot. Like, loot shooters are not my thing.
Well, and the only saving grace for the Bungie team is, God, the shooting still feels so good.
Yes, it
like
does.
Whenever I go back and play like a Destiny game just for like a little bit, I'm like, oh. It's like I'm so heartbroken because like I would love to come back and play this all the time. I don't have a better reason to do that, but if I did, I would feel so good because the shooting feels so great. It's like they still got it, baby. They still got it. It's like, but I'm just like, please make something else so I can play it. Because that's all I want. I wanted shooting mechanics in a different game.
Yeah, well, depending on what PlayStation get them to do, you might get that. What was next? Terrible looking game. Sonic Frontiers. My God, this looks awful.
I disagree.
Terrible.
Disagree. Go on your rant. I want to argue this one because I disagree. I think it looks better.
Well, it looks better than the original showing, but still the environments just look really bad. And particularly when you go out into those big open, kind of quasi-open world sections, they just look barren. And you might have some rings hanging around, or you've got something for Sonic to grind on. But it just looks like they've taken some textures. This is the land texture, and you just plaster that across the entire landscape. Here's the rock texture. Slap. I don't know what they're trying to do here. I just think this game looks worse and worse every time I see it.
In the beginning I was kind of with you when they first showed it. It was just that land, but when I've seen all the different types of levels and the way they're playing with 2D and 3D, I'm really more fascinated by this game. Now maybe how do I say this? There might be an issue because Sonic is going so fast. Who knows if there's an issue with the loading? And maybe that like having less textures on the screen will allow the game to load farther in the distance. Because what we saw from like months ago, who knows how early in development that was, or how if it's in the mid tier of the development, like that, those things can get fixed. So in my mind, I'm way more open on this game. When I saw the transition of one of the levels that it was going from 3D and then they pull the camera back and then it went into a 2D level, I thought, oh wow, that's cool. That's really unique. I like that. It gives you the classic Sonic without, because like one of my favorite Sonic games that's 3D is Sonic Adventure. Sonic Heroes I think is also pretty good as well, and I think it merges those cool elements together, and I think this one could turn out pretty well. Even in the boss battle, I thought it was unique in the way that you were tackling it. Was you had to like circle around the character to do something to it. I couldn't really tell 100% what was happening, but at least in context, I was getting what they telegraphed, and this is what you do good on trailers. Like this is a good job on that marketing team. Is like by Sonic circling around it, you go, that's unique, that's different. It means, oh, I'm going to have different ways I have to tackle these bosses that are going to be things I don't think of. Because we saw then after that, we saw just basic combat, which Sonic jumping around, punching things. Yeah, which showed the variety in the combat and how that's going to work in game. So I'm actually really fascinated by this one. Like, will I buy this day one? No, because I'm not going to pay $70 for it. Like, I have to be a little more picky and choosy with my time and money. And also God of War Ragnarok is around that time too, and I'm gonna be playing the shit out of that because that is the sequel to my favorite game ever made, favorite game of all time and best game ever made. So But I am very excited to definitely try this title, and I'm very curious to see once it launches of how good it is. But I could be totally wrong. It could come out and just not do very well. But there's something unique about it, and I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued by the title. So like, if not excited to play, I'm intrigued.
I missed the game out, so there was a trailer for a game called Marauders, which is a sci-fi FPS. There was some spaceships in it. It's a sci-fi FPS called Marauders.
You could tell our interest by the 2 seconds of just looking at each other going, moving on.
Yeah, so next up was the new work from abusive game director, allegedly, although he did settle payments, so maybe that's not an inference of culpability, as some NFL alleged sex pest may have said as well. The game from Quantic Dream, Under the Waves.
Well, it's not from Quantic Dream, they're just publishing it.
Oh, that's good. So
yeah, they're not,
don't have to
my knowledge, they're not creating it, they're publishing it.
Okay. Well, that's better for the game developers then, I suppose.
So it's not actually made by or comes from that team, it's just published by that team.
Yep. So it's underwater, you're in a submarine. Cool.
Like, I mean,
Goat Simulator 3.
I mean,
it's definitely some Goat Simulator.
They definitely win. They've already won my trailer of the year.
Yeah, with the
Dead Island 2, which hilarious. Then Dead Island shows up in this thing. But anyway, we'll get there in a minute. But yeah, Goat Simulator won trailer of the year. I mean, unless something happens at the Game Awards and someone like tops that, but I don't think you can.
Yeah, that was
brilliant.
High quality trolling.
That was so brilliant.
Talking of high quality trolling, next up was Return to Monkey Island. As if you pre-order now, we'll give you some free horse armor, which you can't use in game.
Just so stupid. Well, and then even it's like even that. I mean, I've no interest in the Monkey Island series, so this is not my thing. Before my time.
Yeah. Will I play it? Possibly. I liked the original Monkey Island. Did I play? No, I haven't played LeChuck's Revenge. So yeah, I quite like the art style in this. I know people are slagging it off and saying to change it, but
it looks good.
Get over yourselves. It looks fine.
Yeah, it looks good.
And I did think that the fact that you've got a marketing person in the game, if they actually put this marketing person in the game, or if they just done that for the marketing, that's clever. So appreciate the wit and humour from that. The next one was Moonbreaker. So this has already been released on Steam. So this was about the console release. Is it? Or am I getting missing a game here? Oh no, this is the miniatures turn-based game where you can paint your own miniatures. To which I wrote down.
Dan approved.
Erebus Jones game also. He's into his Warhammer 40k, so he has his little figures, miniatures, and he paints those with his little boy. So I think this will be a game for him. Got massive Hearthstone vibes from this, and then they had
the art style really looks like it.
They had one of the development team on there, and he mentioned Hearthstone. So I probably would give this a go. I'm not sure how much time I would actually put into painting all of the characters, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not too onerous, or they will give you preset.
But that's kind of cool that like it's almost as I think that's really unique though. I kind of like that because then it also allows you to make your own unique models.
Yeah, so you could be fighting against the
same skeleton, but just different colors.
Different. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I like that. Also, Keith, I think you have convinced me. You know how we say we don't need a game with the word fall in it anymore?
Oh, definitely not.
I think the runner up is Breaker.
We'll have to research that one. Fall is too prevalent. Come on, get your nomenclature. Think of something different. Friends versus Friends up next. The cartoon FPS card battle thing.
Don't even. It's way too many mechanics for my brain to handle at once.
Yeah, but again, they didn't. It was just a very, very quick trailer that showed you fighting and then holding cards. So I don't know how do those two mechanics link. It would have been nice to have some more
It's like
information
Yu-Gi-Oh meets
about
Call
that.
of Duty.
Call of Yu-Gi-Oh. Next up was quite interesting. Got massive Steel Rising vibes from this because they would be set in a similar type era. Which was Lies of P, which is the Pinocchio
so
Souls like.
It looks good. I'm really pumped for this one. I mean, like I got the. It's like. Here's what I got. I got the setting of Bloodborne mixed with like magic of, because like what I really thought was unique about this one was the character was using a lot of magic spells. And I know there's like sorcery classes in Demon Souls, and I mean sorcery classes in Dark Souls. But yeah, this one seemed to be a good mix. And then hearing more later about like how instead of like Pinocchio, the concept of like him growing his nose when he lies is like he's turning more human as he lies, and then that affects the character. I'm curious of how it'll affect the character. You know, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little too non-descriptive of like exactly what affects the character. But at least for a first showing, looks good to me. Like I'm excited.
Yeah, in the same way that I thought the setting for Steel Rising was interesting. I like the setting for this as
But
well.
once you learned the gameplay, you weren't too happy about it.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully it's not as. Hopefully you can. They haven't taken the pure Soulsborne style, and they've done what
I'll do a lighter version or something.
yeah, Spiders have done, and said if you want to, you can tweak these settings to make your experience
That's good.
a bit better. But we'll have to wait and see more on that. But that they showed. I thought it was just going to be a CG trailer, but it looked all in engine. They actually showed some snippets of gameplay, so that's always nice.
And it looks like it's farther than probably people expect, which means, I mean, I would say expect some more news from it next year. Or even at the Game Awards. Who knows? They could have a bigger trailer at the Game Awards. Especially with the response. Keighley's probably like, dude, I already got your info. Like, give me what you got next.
Yeah.
Or he'll do it at his next Summer Game Fest against E3.
So next up, Stranded. Survival RPG. Moving on.
Moving on.
Atlas Fallen. It's a third-person action game. I quite like the setting, but again, show me the gameplay. Show me the gameplay. Then this was where the crowd really let Keighley down. Homeworld 3.
Well, here's where the crowd didn't make their money to just didn't do their job. They paid them.
They didn't have the Ubisoft fanboys and fangirls in the front row.
Yeah, they forgot to put them there, or they forgot they were supposed to cheer for that one.
Yes. Homeworld 3. I bet you're gonna need a pretty high-end PC to play that.
Exactly. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Well, RTS game. No thanks. Dan game.
Dan game.
Genshin
Dan approved.
Impact 3.0 update. Skip that shit.
Oh yeah.
And then there was another game from the same developer which looked very Japanese, which I didn't even bother writing the name down. It was quite interesting how little Japanese stuff was in here this time, and I know they wanted to focus mainly on European game devs. I would have thought
they're
there
in
was
Germany.
I thought there would be more of a smattering of some Japanese stuff in there. Next up was the boss fight gameplay from High on Life. Now, I was quite excited about this, and this boss fight really put me off.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely unnecessarily vulgar in terms of the language that they used. Every other word was fuck. And I remember I watched season 1 of The Wire, and there was a scene in that where they're searching someone's kitchen, and every word in the whole scene was either fuck or motherfucker. They didn't say anything else to each other, and it gave me that vibe. It's like, why are you inept when it comes to writing, or are you just being overtly childish? That you have
Probably
to
the
write like
latter.
that. It put me off. I didn't think. I thought the gameplay looked fluid. I can see how the talking gun and knifey mechanic is going to get extremely annoying.
And isn't this one with the Rick and Morty voice too? I'm sorry. I can't. I don't like the voice. I'm not a big fan of Rick and Morty. I've heard great things. I've seen some episodes. I just can't get over that voice. Morty's voice is just so. Like, I'm fine with SpongeBob. Like, it took me a while to like be okay with SpongeBob. I seem to not be able to get that Morty voice to work for me, and so next. Like, I can't. And in fact, he doesn't change his voice. Like, I love the concept. I love the concept of these guns talking to you, and I love that like the knife goes stab stab, and like I think that's hilarious. It just has to be the Morty voice though. Like, come on, do something a little more unique. It's just not. It almost feels like it's a spin-off of Rick and Morty when it's not even a spin-off at all.
Yeah, so I was a bit, after watching that, I'm more down on the game than I was for the announcement.
Yeah.
Next up is Shipbreaker, which is a console release of that game, which is already out on PC. Now, I've heard good things about this, not only in terms of the quite laid-back gameplay, but the anti-capitalist messages that it's putting out as well. So you are someone who goes in and takes spaceships apart, and you've got to find certain things within the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to repair stuff so that you can actually go in. So it's a puzzle-based game as well. But there's elements of it where you're talking to other shipbreakers or your employer, and your employers do not give a single shit about you. They just want you to get the stuff. So apparently there is some quite clear anti-capitalist messages coming out through this game. But will I play it? Probably not. Something I definitely will play is the Expanse's Telltale game. I'm a huge Expanse fan. The TV show is absolutely brilliant. Anyone who's not watched it should really go and watch it.
I will watch it and give you my report.
I'm really excited about this, and I'm really excited that it's focusing on Kamina Drummer, who's one of the more nuanced characters in that show as well. It was interesting that I had the little interview between the developers and Cara G, who's the actor on the show, who's also lent her voice to the game, where she's saying this is her life before the show starts.
Mm-hmm.
So she's more happy, more naive to a degree, whereas in the show you find her she's a hard-ass woman, takes shit from no one. So this is kind of how do you get from her character in the game to her in the show? I'm really excited about seeing this. Are you done with Telltale games, or has this? Because I was, but as soon as I heard that they're doing an Expanse one, I was like, I am all in on that. Thank you very much.
I'll wait for reviews. Well, the thing for me is like, it sounds great, but the gameplay probably isn't still fun to me. I like this is the problem with Telltale. Jesus Christ, I can't speak today. Not enough sleep. People, get your sleep. Like, number one advice: get your sleep. Anyway,
and if you're suffering from stress and getting dizziness and headaches, go see your GP.
Yes. But anyway, that's the one thing. Like, I think they tell good stories. I really do. I just find the gameplay that they play with not very inventive. unimaginative and quite boring. So like I'd rather just watch a YouTube video of someone playing it and just get the story that way than me actually playing it, because I feel like it's not as fun.
I get where you are, because I was there. I, I loved the original Walking Dead game. I played most of the second one and was getting a bit, come on, this gameplay loop isn't clicking with me now.
Yep.
I tried Tales from the Borderlands and had the same experience. I quit because I couldn't get over the hump with the gameplay. So I'm really hoping that, because I am very much a fan of the show, that I can break through that wall.
Get through that hump, yeah. So like that's why I said I'll wait until reviews, because maybe they might introduce a new gameplay mechanic that I just don't know about, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll enjoy it more. It's the issue is the gameplay mixed in with how piecemeal they give you the story feels like all the work you do, you really don't get a lot out of it. And so like an episode could have like payoffs way later, but an episode still doesn't feel very rewarding. So like I just spent an hour playing this game and I got little piecemeal things on this whole episode, and it's like I kind of wasted 2 hours. But then when you get to the end, you're like, I see it all like pay back there. But it's like getting to that point, you still have to keep you wanting to keep going. Like the payoff can still be there, but you still want the player to keep playing to get there.
Yeah, the other thing I really hope they do with this, I hope it's an R-rated, 18-rated mature or game, and it's not.
Yeah, mature. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not dumbed down, because some of the things that you would be doing potentially in this game that they showed in the trailer was like spacing people. And I hope they keep the tone of the show, which was very much mature, very much a high-level geopolitical thing going on. So I'm hoping there's that level of writing in it. So high hopes for that one. Next, unexpected killer clowns from outer space.
No interest. Next.
Yeah, it's asymmetrical. I know some people play as the clowns, you play as teenagers.
So weird.
Yeah. Next up, Soars Above. I didn't make any notes on this because I was probably suffering from game announcement fatigue at this point.
Yeah, this is where I started to die. I was like, am I awake? Still awake? No. This reminded me of Microsoft's E3 press conference. Am I still awake? Yeah.
And this was another CG trailer. You're in space doing space stuff.
Okay, what is with it? What is like? It's zombies one generation, and now it's all space games. What is with all the space games?
I don't mind, because I am very much more a science fiction fan than I am high fantasy. So,
but they all seem around like the same general thought. It's like,
well, give us some context. So what are you going to be doing? Why should we care?
Like
particularly
the catch line of space isn't enough anymore. That's what I meant.
And this is going back to my point earlier, which is you can have too much. You can have too many announcements. And by this point, the next thing was the award for Gamescom Goes Green, which Yuki won. Well done. But straight away after that, there was a very short trailer for a RPG Woro song, which you play as two different twins, and one might be evil and one might not be. But it was just so quick, one after the other. World premiere.
Keighley's world premiere has wore off on me, because like a world premiere doesn't feel as special anymore.
No, and by packing all of these in together, you'll lose stuff, and people thinking, oh yeah, I can have my game announced at Gamescom opening night live with Geoff Keighly. Yeah, but you're in amongst over 40 other announcements. You're
Yeah.
going to get lost.
This was always my problem with Microsoft in their press conferences. They do quantity over quality. And it's because Microsoft can go on the stage. We have over 50 games that we showed on stage. And it's like, yeah, but I only want to play like 3.
Yeah, or I've already forgotten 47 of them.
Yeah, or like the one maybe I wanted to play I completely forgot about because all the other I like lost it in the shuffle, being like, was it even there? Like, because there was all these shitty games in between, or games I don't want to play. Sorry, not shitty games. That's mean. I'm learning to be a little bit nicer. It's just not as games I don't want to play.
Yeah. So next up was the expansion for Age of Empires 4. Okay.
Meh. Game Pass.
Dan, have fun with it.
Yeah, Game Pass. Have fun with that, Dan.
And then we had. Is everyone excited for Gotham Knights? Woo.
Oh my god. I saw the Harley Quinn because IGN has like first look or IGN first or whatever. They showed the Harley Quinn boss fight. Oh, it looks so rough. I was like, why does this have to look like this? And they even pushed it up. They pushed the release date up. What are they thinking?
Oh, Clayface was in it.
Oh no, Keith.
The more I see of this game, the less and less I'm interested.
I can't. I'm refusing to buy this game, Keith. It's
there's no way.
It looks so bad. Like I can imagine this hitting like PlayStation Plus or Game Pass in like a month or two. Like it's. I feel so bad for that team because when I did watch, they had like a history of Gotham City, and in talking to IGN, and some of their ideas sound really fascinating. I think their issue is the mechanics of the actual combat. It doesn't seem to work, or it doesn't seem to look good or feel.
The flow of the combat doesn't look as
choppy.
Yes.
It's very choppy. And I'm like...
I was going to say the flow of the combat doesn't look as fluid. Well, that would be implied by the flow, wouldn't it?
But I think, I totally agree. And I think, like, this team has the stuff from past Gotham games. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, you can still have... It seems to like they're trying to keep the Gotham style, like, old, like, Batman combat system. But yet they're trying to, like, make it a little more like allow the player to have a little more choice of how and not being stuck on like a rail, and I get that, and that's great.
You introduce Jason Todd as the Red Hood, you're going to have gun combat, which the series has never had before. But yeah, and
then like they have special powers that make no sense, like in reality, like
his soul jump thing.
It's just I'm like, oh my god, guys, why? Like I
saw the thing that the prior to Gamescom they did some of the skill tree talk through.
Yeah, and
some of it made sense. The Robin hacking into the Watchtower, the Justice League Watchtower's teleportation device thing, that kind of makes sense. But why would he need it?
Yeah, it's just it's just like it's like they have some good ideas here, right? They have some good ideas here, but then like some of the ideas are like, why would you think that would work? I'm just and I'm more mad of disappointment, man, because like this could have been a really good game, and I'm just like, it is not looking good, and I just feel so bad for that team because I bet they worked so hard on it, and like they look like they worked their asses off on this game, and like in some aspects it really shows they worked their ass off on this game, but it's like some ways are just like, oh no. No, Keith, no.
I want to like it, but I just can't find myself doing it.
Exactly. Like that's exactly my feeling. I think that's the sentiment about everyone. Everyone wants to like this game, but they're like, no, I can't like this. Why is this like this?
And the interesting thing about the inclusion of Clayface, because you fight Clayface at the end of Arkham City.
Yep.
And you need the equipment that you've built up through the game to beat Clayface, because otherwise he would just demolish them. So how are you going to are you going to retread what was already done?
Yeah.
Is that why you've got to fight Mr. Freeze, so that you can freeze Clayface? But
just like
Harley Quinn, compared to the 4 characters in this, is not menacing.
No, and then like she like
it seems like you've just included her because it's a Batman game. We have to have Harley Quinn in it.
I mean, one thing I'll give them credit for, I do like the approach they have with the character. I think is interesting. The voice actress like has this. She has like the voice of the old Harley Quinn stuff, like that kind of accent, but then she kind of plays with it a little bit, and I give her credit. She did a pretty good job with like trying to make it different and unique. I just think the writing choices for that character in the middle of the boss battle made no sense. And I was like, what? Like, oh, I'll be right back. I got something to take care of. And then all she comes back and she's like, oh yeah, all I did to change the combat was I added electricity to my hammer. It's like, no, Harley Quinn would be pulling out like a freaking rocket launcher, being like, screw you, bats. Or a little bat boy or whatever. But no, she's just like, and then like to dodge her moves are like so simplistic. It's just, I saw that boss battle and I was like, is this the first boss battle you have to fight? Because it looks the most simplistic boss battle I've ever seen in quite some time, where you just have to hit the dodge button. That's all you have to do.
Dodge roll.
Oh, it's so weird.
So next, moving on from our wanting to like Gotham Knights, but can't bring ourselves to
honestly
do so.
Like it needs a Pixel Pints Game Award for something as like most unfortunate, disappointing, like saddest game we have to give a bad game award to or something.
Yes, the game we didn't want to give an award to,
but we have no choice.
So the next up was a Chinese Ghost of Tsushima. Where winds meet.
This
third-person action game.
Well, okay, so I disagree a little bit. I think it's a Souls game mixed with Ghost of Tsushima. It's got the boss battle style of a Souls game, but it's got that similar type of some similar typeness of the combat system to Ghost of Tsushima and the setting. I like it. I like the duo. I like the combination together. I think works. I'm fascinated. I think because Neo was so slow with its combat system, it'll be interesting to see a higher, fast-paced like a Sekiro, but not as Soulsy.
I didn't get a Souls vibe from this. This seemed more like a kind of purer third-person action game.
Well, I got the Soulsy vibe from the bosses because they were huge.
Yeah, it looks more like I was thinking along the lines of somewhere between Chinese version of Ghost of Tsushima crossed with Devil May Cry.
Okay, I could, yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm so wrong, Keith. Sorry, I was talking about this game with a coworker, and I used a different phrasing for it. Wow, why did I say Souls? I called it Ghost of Tsushima mixed with Bayonetta.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know why I said the other one. I am so sorry, Keith.
You should be. We should record that.
I'll snip oh wait, we did. But yeah, no. I said, and then my coworker's like, "You pretty much nailed it." And I was like, yeah, it's Ghost of Tsushima with Bayonetta mixed together. It's great. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'd like to see more.
Sorry, why I said Bayonetta was also because when he dodged, it slowed down time, which is the witch time mechanic in Bayonetta, which really made me think of that. Which I love. I love the witch time mechanic in Bayonetta. It's like one of the best mechanics from that game. It's so satisfying dodging and getting that slow down time, getting the extra hits in. It makes you want to keep dodging. It's so good. I love that.
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see a longer section of uncut gameplay.
Oh yeah, hands down. Me too.
But I thought I was quite interested in that. I thought the world art, the art style of the world was really cool. Some of the bosses
Looked
pretty spectacular as well.
Oh yeah.
Going back, Lies of P, that animatronic giant boss thing with some of the
some of the designs there were really cool. Yeah. That was intriguing, along with like the magic spells and like your character. I thought and that's why I call it Bloodborne, because the theme kind of was very like gothic, but like gothic Pinocchio, and I like that.
And next up, God himself, Hideo Kojima, to announce his Spotify exclusive podcast.
I'm sorry, it's not a Geoff Keighly show without introducing his love of his life,
Hideo Kojima. Are you going to be tuning into Hideo Kojima, God himself? No, neither am I.
Let us know in the comments if you are going to listen to Hideo Kojima. I mean, the podcast will probably be a success because everyone else will listen to him.
Oh, it's definitely going to get millions of views.
Yeah.
Or if it's a video podcast.
Hilarious enough, he'll be like, sponsored by Death Stranding, the director's cut. Please go buy my game.
It could be, very much so. Next up, the Pokemon themed Mini Cooper. What the actual fuck?
I agreement.
So why?
Why not?
Of all the,
that's the answer. Why not? We got enough money. We could do whatever the hell we want. We're Pokemon.
So next up was quite an extended look at Warhammer 40k Darktide.
No interest.
Up to four player co-op. I could see me getting into this if I could actually get some friends to play this. If I was playing this solo, no chance. I'm not even.
Well, you got Erebus Jones. Erebus Jones will play with you. So, Erebus Jones, you said you're going to listen to this podcast. This is your moment. Make sure you go talk to Keith about playing some Warhammer.
I thought it looked quite interesting. Is the horde mode mechanic just going to get a bit tiresome?
Yes.
Yeah.
A very easy answer.
Next up was Weird Forest game, Blacktail. The trailer only went on for about 30 seconds.
Weird title.
Yeah. I can't even remember I just remember the word Blacktail with, I think was it pink and with little squirrels on it.
I completely forgot about this one, so don't ask me.
So I don't remember anything about the game. Next up was Phantom Hellcat, where you listen to a Walkman and kill stuff. Great.
Moving on. I like how we have different expressions for time to move on. Silence. Yeah. Nope. Let's just move on. Crap. It's like
Crossfire X update. I thought this game was already dead. So
same here.
I'm guessing people are really still loving it in China to keep it going.
Well, it's also on Game Pass, so like Microsoft's probably 40ing the bill a little bit for that, because apparently when they said it's coming to Xbox, they were very excited about it. It's like, oh, it's the next new property, it's the next new cheese, it's gonna be hot shit, and then it's like comes to the States, nope.
Yeah, and people play it. It's like, what is this? This is terrible.
Am I renewing my subscription $10 a month to be able to play this? No. Next.
The console launch for Death Rentakill or Rentolit. So this was I think it's a German game, which is the thing that looks like a bit of a Civ clone, because they had the hexagonal hexagons. I don't know.
Next.
Yep. Outlast Trials looked freaky as all hell.
Yeah, this is the part I fell asleep. back to be like, am I falling asleep?
Yeah, so that look. I don't. Would I play? Would I play Outlast Trials? Possibly. It looks a bit. It looks a bit mental.
Would you pay for it?
No.
There you go.
If Big Phil deems it's okay to go on Game Pass, then I might give it a go.
Or what's the phrase, Keith? Come on now.
Other subscription models may be available.
There you go.
Next up, The Finals, a game show themed shooter from ex-Battlefield devs, which they didn't show any gameplay of.
And doesn't sound like I know how it's going to work, so let's move on. Wasted my time.
Last up, we've waited such a long time for it. Dead Island 2.
This one's fascinating, a little bit.
Did you like the trailer?
It's okay. Like, obviously, Dead Island has a place in history as some of the best trailers ever made. Was it the worst one of them, of the three? Yes. Was the quality very different compared to the other two? Yes. For just but a regular game trailer, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it explained me what the game was, and apparently it's like not open world. It's going to be like these sub-open world hubs that you just like kill shit in, and it's very linear. It's 3-player co-op. I think there's stuff there. Because here's the thing, I don't actually mind that it's actually not open world, because you're competing with Dead Island. I mean, not Dead Island. I'm sorry, that is Dead Island.
Dying Light.
Yeah, Dying Light. And so, why not go a different route to make yourself a little more unique and make yourself into a more of like a brawler, beat 'em up, like get your friends together, just go beat all these zombies up and enjoy your day. Like, not worry about being this giant open world traversal and getting from one place to another. And then that the nicer part too is like they get to explore all over LA. Like they talked about that you could go to, I think it was Venice Beach that they're going to be at, which Venice Beach has a really cool park here in LA, like in Venice. So like there's going to be some interesting mechanics probably you can do. Like, and then you get to eventually probably go to Hollywood, and that will be fun too. Like Walk of Fame, maybe go find a certain star and smash a zombie's head on it. Who knows? They might put some like celebrities in there. Like, I think there's some interesting things they could do.
That's one thing I was going to say. Which celebrity would you like to turn into a zombie? Or which celebrity do you think would have a
former president would be great if I could smash their head on the star that they have.
Well, as long as they keep paying for it, they can keep the star. Can you think of any celebrities who might say, "Yeah, put me in the game for a laugh"? Because I think some of them would be
Bill Murray. Bill Murray would sign me the F up because he's already in a zombie movie and he gets killed in that zombie movie. So, yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would just like do someone close enough looking like it that they don't have to pay the actor for their likeness, because like it would be really expensive to do that.
Yeah.
But like they could get close and being like, hey, or you could do people that are like not alive, so like you don't have to pay for the rights to use their faces, because like I don't think you have to if they're dead. So like you could put like a Marilyn Monroe like copycat and just be like, I beat up Marilyn Monroe. Sounds bad, but like it's like it still could be interesting. Yeah, like I think I think this game could do well as a way of counteracting what Dying Light is doing. And I think that's a smart strategy for them.
So they've got the 6 playable characters, each with their own personality, but possibly not different play styles.
Sorry, Burkoff, you can't build your own character.
Yeah, Matt's not playing this then.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that it did make me think of, because they said it was melee focused with some guns thrown in. So how are you going to do that? Is it going to be you need to craft them, or is ammo going to be scarce? Or
I wonder if it's like scripted sequence, like all of a sudden like a horde comes your way and you need to use your guns. So like they have guns around that you can pick up and like hold them off. It's like maybe you put a barricade at the Chinese theater, because the Chinese theater has this like open courtyard space, but then also it leads to the street. So like they could put like barricades, and they kind of do this already. If you like go see a movie there, they block off the space where that courtyard is, where all the handprints and footprints of famous people from when they did movies and they premiered at the Chinese theater. what they could do is like they could like make a barrier there, and like you have to hold off the horde coming in from the street from the Hollywood, and that would be super cool to have like the Chinese theater behind you. Like I think they can make unique gameplay of elements with that. Maybe that's what it is.
It made me think of kind of colourful, melee focused Left 4 Dead,
which kind of reminded me what Dying Light was in the first place. Like when I mean not Dying Light, I'm sorry, what Dead Island. Like I remember the first Dead Island. All I remember was like constantly seeing gameplay of people bashing zombies with melee weapons. And then when I see Dying Light, I see parkour. Like that's the difference between those two franchises, and I love that this Dead Island is leaning into what makes it what its strength is, which is beating the shit out of zombies.
The other thing I was going to say, and then, well, there's two things I was going to say about this. The awkward introduction of the gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
Do you want to see some gameplay? Oh, no, do we want to see gameplay? Let's look at it now. Okay, let's do that. That was really awkward.
Yeah, it works better when you have a live audience that actually cares. Like, because, like, an example, just quickly, I'll let you get back, which is, like, when they revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake for the first time, like, and they're like, you want to see more gameplay? And obviously everyone is, like, a huge fan of the game, and they're like, yes! And, like, that's when it works. But when you have no one in the audience being like, they didn't pay the people to scream out, yes, show me more. So
there wasn't anyone down the front with the applause card.
Yeah, being like, they like handed out the cards right before the game came out. I mean, right before the announcement. So everyone has cards being like, die, like, Dead Island. Anyway,
so,
go ahead.
The other thing that I was going to say about this is the sales of this will eclipse Back 4 Blood by a massive margin.
Yeah. I think it will too. Like it's just something about Back 4 Blood just didn't work for me.
Well, it's too similar to Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
would be the main thing.
And I think it was, well, one, it was too similar to Left 4 Dead, but then also the new things they didn't make it better. And that was its problem.
It was so drab.
Yes.
Just the color palette. Just
like you could have done something really unique with a game like that. Like I could easily, like, you could make and here's the thing, like I understand shooters, like people don't care about campaigns. That's a game you can make a real sick campaign for and still have the multiplayer built into it too, and it would be really interesting and fun. Like it reminded me like of the old Resident Evil Resident Evil Outbreak, which is like the multiplayer game they had, which is you go through these environments, there's a built-in story, but you could pick all these different characters and it still feels like you're involved. And like I feel like that it didn't have that in Back 4 Blood, and I think it could have upgraded by doing that, and just they didn't. So
yeah, so right, that was the end of the show. Thanks, Geoff. Bye everybody.
Well, I was gonna say, you know what was more interesting than all those games that they showed off? The 10 minutes of Forspoken gameplay they showed off, like, literally that day, that I just watched and enjoyed personally. I'm like, Forspoken looks really good. And I was like, all the other announcements, it's like, eh.
So, I haven't watched that. That's just reminded me I need to go and watch that.
Because really good.
I do like the look of Forspoken. I know you guys were talking about it last week, saying it's could suffer from its delay.
No. Hogwarts was going to suffer because of Forspoken.
They're two very, very different games. I don't see that potentially cannibalizing sales of one of the other.
When you go and watch the gameplay of Forspoken, it's all magic. First of all, they show a lot, which is great, and they show the traversal, which looks amazing. It looks a lot of fun to like traverse the environment. And you can get through cover a lot of ground very quickly, which is very cool. And the combat looks awesome. Like that thing sold me on the title. Like I was already optimistic, but now seeing the gameplay of what the title is, I'm sold. That is a day one purchase for me, unless I get it for free. Who knows?
Let's wait and see. But of the 40 plus announcements, how many were we actually excited for?
2,
2.
maybe 3.
I'm sticking with 2.
I'm excited for 2. I'm fascinated by one other one, which is the Dead Island one. But the 2 I liked was the Pinocchio one and the Rise of P, and I was fascinated by the Ghost of Tsushima / Bayonetta clone.
Yeah, so obviously I was raving about The Expanse earlier on, so that would be top of my list. Really looking forward to that coming out. And the other one would be Lies of P, because the world setting looks, and the character designs look really interesting.
When your art style and design and environment can sell you on a game, money, baby. That means those people did their job. They did it well, and they did it right.
Yeah, the only thing that would put me off is how pure is it a Soulsborne spin-off?
Well, I think it seems as if magic is heavily involved, which actually will change the combat a lot. Because it seems like there's distance combat too, and like there's ways to counteract people by using magic as like a parody attack.
There was one point where it looked like he transformed his arm into a magic grenade launcher.
Yeah, that was cool too.
So those would be the 2 that we are most excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there was a nice lot of Dan games in there. So
yeah, I mean, there's like in this show, to their credit, there was a lot of okay games, just nothing to really like go crazy about. And even the ones I'm excited about were not like I'm gonna go crazy and lose my mind over. It's not like we're getting a brand new IP from one of the top tier studios in the industry. Like, it wasn't that.
Yeah, it was okay. That looks interesting.
Which then supports the argument more. Is I think Gamescom is losing their stride too. I mean, they were never like a top tier place, but I remember the last Gamescom that they had before the pandemic. They had freaking Gears of War on stage. Like, where's the first party title? There's like no first party title on there. A big one. And it's because they don't need it anymore. Well, Microsoft needs them because Microsoft doesn't do directs. But Sony does their own. Nintendo does their own.
Yeah, Gamescom is, from my perspective, has always been more of an in-person thing anyway.
True.
Very true. This is just a tack on. To some degree.
Wait for Keighley to make some more money.
Yeah.
And get a free trip to Germany.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, Keith, you want a free trip to Germany? Just do a show for us. Just one day. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. It doesn't even have to phone up all the important people.
Yep. And you could say world premiere as much as you want. We'll count it.
Well, thank God they didn't announce world premiere like the old Xbox.
World premiere.
No, it's so annoying. And we had our ubiquitous. Not ubiquitous, obligatory Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Showing.
And I wonder if in Germany they're like, we don't wear sockless shoes here. You must cover your ankles.
Yeah, but it's Geoff Keighly. He'll get away with it. Get let through customs. Do we have anything else to say about Gamescom other than we're probably not going to talk about anything else announced at Gamescom?
No.
Unless it is an actual first-party massive announcement.
Which there isn't, because it would have happened at that show. Like, that's their opportunity to do it, because if one of them did it, they would have stole the show.
Oh yeah, that would have been mic drop moment. So
yeah,
when you're bookending your show with Everywhere, which they struggled to explain what it was that you'd actually be doing in the game.
Hey, at least the last game, Dead Island, at least we know what it is.
Exactly. So, but
it's almost like we started a book being like, we don't know what we're making, we know exactly what we're making.
Yeah. So we've spent the last, I think they said 4 years working on it.
Yeah. Well, they also said like it transferred between 3 different studios, but this one got its full development cycle from scratch, which was good. It was good to hear, because at least like the issue is when you hand over assets like that from like one team to another, it can go wrong because like you weren't the one to create it originally, and so it's really hard sometimes to understand the nuance of what you were going for. And like you make tools inside games to be like, I made this tool because I'm going to make this other tool that's going to work with this system. But if you don't know that ahead of time, especially if they get canceled on a project and hand the assets over, they have to make a guess of being like, well, I wonder what they were going to use this for, right? So like it happens like that. So it's good that they were able to make it from scratch. So they could really just put in their own ideas and really just go with it.
So next time, I'm slightly worried now for the Game Awards.
I'm not. You know what? Well, I'll let you go first of why you think you are, but I'm not. I'm not, and I can tell you why.
So obviously, there's going to be stuff that's not been announced yet, but we've had Summer Games Fest, we've had the Gamescom.
Yep.
What else might there be? And the game adverts, as Stephanie Sterling likes to call it, have been getting progressively less interesting. We make it more interesting by having the Game of the Game Awards.
Which is still my favorite game to play. Because I win every time.
I don't know what could possibly get shown there unless it is the first footage of Breath of the Wild 2 or something like that Keighley's got up his sleeve. What is going to be at the Game Awards that could actually be really interesting, that will be that grab you by the face and give you a good shake, this is coming soon and it's going to be amazing type title? I just can't think of what that might be. The other thing is it's going to be a bit of a painful year for awards because so much stuff has got pushed. So it's basically going to be a fight between Elden Ring and God of War for everything, pretty much.
No comment until all games come out. I would say not all the awards, because I think there are other games that probably will.
Well, the Accessibility Award, I don't think Elden Ring's going to win anything for that. Unless it's the award for complete and total inaccessibility.
No, but I also think like like Horizon came out. I think it did some really good things. That one could maybe win best graphics. Who knows? Like. Nah. Well, have you seen the latest update on PS5 though? It is it's night and day different, bro. It's really good. It's really good. I'm utterly shocked. It's like it only took them like a couple months after launch to really get it to where it is running really great. And not only running great, it looks gorgeous. Like it is almost like another game because they did some lighting tweaks and it's just great. So you'll it's good for you that you'll get to play that game after it launched because the patches really made it better. So you'll get to experience like the best of it.
Yeah, well, I'll probably be having to wait a bit longer now to get a PS5
because of the price
has been put up.
Which is I get you. But
so what's your take now? Since we'll see Keighley 3 times a year potentially.
Yeah, we will see him 3 times a year. Just like your favorite uncle, you get to see him a couple times a year. Oh, that's great. No, I do think I disagree with you for a couple reasons. But one, I 100% Zelda will never show up on Keighley's stage because Nintendo would never let that happen. Nintendo likes to take their moment.
No, I wasn't actually saying that.
No, I get you. I get you.
That level of announcement.
But here's my thing: is I actually think if there is a time that there will be showings like that, the Game Awards is, because if you think about it, we have a lot of juggernauts going into next year. A lot of juggernauts. We talked about this on last week's show. Like we have Final Fantasy 16. We have Starfield. We have Redfall. I know Redfall's not counted as a juggernaut. But we also
it's more of a semi-trailer.
Now, if I remember correctly, I still forgot to double check. Was Spider-Man listed as 2023? Spider-Man 2? Let me just Google it right now.
I don't think so.
Spider-Man 2.
Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Oh, shoot. Wrong button. I got the web code. I'm like, I don't want the web code. Spider-Man 2 game. release date. Here we go. I'm going up. No, that's not what it is. It's a tentative window of 2023. Yeah, so tentative window of 2023. That's what they said in their trailer announcement. If I'm reading this correctly, and if I remember the trailer announcement correctly, they said tentative 2023 of like the year. So like
Games Radar have just got it as listed as coming 2023.
Yeah, I swear they put a date. I know they put a year on it. So like that potentially is going to come out too. So like there's a lot of stuff that Keighley, in regards to juggernauts, Keighley could pull from. That's ready to go and get some flashing eyes. There's also like stuff like, who knows what, like, again, I bashed them a lot because they deserve it until they prove me wrong. But, you know, Microsoft seems to have a good relationship with Keighley. They showed off the console. They showed off the first footage of Hellblade. Who knows? They might show off some new footage of Hellblade. Like, they haven't shown anything of Hellblade in almost a year. I think
launch trailer.
Maybe a trail. I wouldn't say launch trailer because like launch trailer.
Launch trailer. What am I thinking of?
I mean, they already did an announcement trailer, but I would just say maybe this is like their first full like gameplay like walkthrough trailer, and maybe they give a year. Maybe it's 2020, like early 2024, or they're saying it is maybe 2023. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not working on the project, but I think Microsoft does have a window where, I mean, they have a boatload of titles that they're working on. I bet they show something to Keighley, and they give Keighley something. They don't have a showcase type showing to like show off their titles. They don't do that anymore. It's E3 and Keighley's show floor. So that's why I disagree with you. I think there is Apple opportunity. It's, can Keighley get them to do something for him? And that's the ultimate question. If not, like, I mean, sorry, I kind of already said it, but basically, I think if there is an ample time to get something, the end of the year to start the new year is probably the best time that they're going to give, the soonest they'll be able to give stuff to like show. Like Final Fantasy 16 is coming out this summer. I bet you they give them a trailer. Keep the bandwagon going.
Yeah, I don't.
But who knows? But I just think I just think there is opportunity. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know.
I think the thing for me is I'm a bit Keighley'd out.
I think we're all Keighley'd out. We need a new host, bro. We need a new host. I appreciate Keighley for all he does, but right now I do not need Keighley to like host all these shows. Because like, again, Keighley, I respect the man. He does a good job for what he does. Like, he's good at what he does. Give him all the credit in the world. But to be truthfully honest, he's not a great host.
No.
They need a better...
He loves what he does. You can see that he loves it.
And I get it. It doesn't come off... It comes off cheesy at times. Real cheesy. Like beyond real cheesy. And I'm just like, dude, I appreciate what you do, but like, maybe you get a segment. Like, go with it with your own segment, but like, give the rest of the show to somebody else. I think also it would change up the formula. It would make things more interesting for people. Like, heck, it would be interesting to get celebrities to host. Like, I think I know we talked about this in a past, like, Burumver and Pixel Pines, well, whatever we had before. But I really think a new host, and it doesn't have to be like, maybe he has a host for, maybe he chooses one event he gets to host himself. Like, take the Game Awards. Take the Game Awards. But like Gamescom, give it to somebody else, but you can produce the whole thing. The E3 Summer Game Fest, get someone else to host, but you produce the whole thing yourself. Like, put your name all over it. Say presented by Geoff Keighly. Like, whatever you want to do, whatever the heck you want to do to give yourself credit, but just don't host every show, man. I appreciate them. Just don't do it.
I think less Keighley, more games. Let's hear from the people more that are actually making stuff. Let's give them more of a window. And potentially not the people who are making it everywhere, because they can't seem to explain their own goddamn game.
Well, okay. I will say though, I agree with you and what I would back that up with is what was I going to say? I think he does his best work as a host when he's interviewing people.
Yes.
And so, like, an example was like when he had Neil Druckmann on stage. I think he did a really good job of interviewing Neil Druckmann, like, because he asked him questions that were beyond what we anticipated, and he did a good job with it. And I think he did a good job of, like, getting information from people. Like, I think he does a really good job of it while still being respectful to the studio and being like, you shouldn't tell more than you should tell, right? But, like, maybe give us a snippet. And I think he does a really good job with that. And I think that's his talent. Do more of that, because I think people would be more interested in that. But
Yeah, I think that's where this, and again, that way you can focus more about what you're actually talking about and not have 40 plus announcements where some of them are going to get lost in the mix.
Yeah, because, like, I would have loved to see the team behind that Pinocchio game and just have a quick interview with them.
Yes. Just why this? Why did you pick this as the theme for the game? Where did you get your inspiration for,
right,
for the art style? I want to not necessarily a deep dive or developer walkthrough or anything like that. Just a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that could be cool because you could get some really boring people up on stage.
For sure.
So you'd have to vet them, or please don't just use marketing people.
I usually want to try to get, like, the game director, because they're passionate about the project. They know the project backwards and forwards. They know the concepts. They know the pitch. Like, they know how to handle that kind of stuff. And if not, like, that's the host's job. Like, Keighley can help them along the way if they're relatively new to this. Like, just ask really good questions that they can answer straightforwardly, and I think he can do a good job with that. So yeah, I would say, like, lean on his strength. Just being this, like, game show host isn't his thing. It's just not gonna work. But, like, doing good interviews, like, those are his segments. Like, give those to him, and then the rest have someone else host. So, but yeah.
So, wrapping up very quickly, Gamescom. Do we want to grade it? Opening night live.
Let's go for it. What do you think? Where are you grading it?
In terms of scale, I don't know. I'm going to rate it blah.
I rate it with a meh. A meh and a blah.
There are ratings for Gamescom opening night live. You can follow all the other stuff happening at Gamescom. IGN have got their Gamescom coverage going on. Like I said, we probably won't do any more about Gamescom. We'll move on to our normal topics going forward. Hopefully we'll see more people. I won't be here next week because I will be in a different country and thoroughly enjoying myself, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I won't have these bloody headaches and dizziness all the time anymore.
No, you don't get to hear my gloating about launching my first title. Oh, damn.
Oh, what a shame. Damn.
What a shame. That's okay.
Yeah, you snapping pictures of your name coming up on the credits and then posting it out on Twitter. I'll tell you what, if you do that, I will like and retweet it.
Aw, that's so nice of you. Thanks.
Yes, and you're also a scumbag for being able to get hold of a PS5.
Hey, I worked real hard to. Well, actually, I didn't. It was a colleague of mine. She is on that tweet stuff. Like, she gets the notifications of being like, oh, it's on PS Direct, and it's like she's just. And she came up to me. She's like, okay. Last story about this PS5. So, on the store, honestly, right now has only been the Horizon bundle, and I already have Horizon. I don't want to pay additional money to get the Horizon bundle. And so every time we go on the PlayStation Direct store, she would, like, find the link, we'd hop on, and it's only the Horizon bundle. And I was like, I'm sorry, this is principle. I am not going to purchase an extra copy of the game and pay more for it. I just want the console with the disc. Now, if there's a different bundle out there that I don't have a game for, I'm open to it because I'm probably going to buy the game anyway. But this is principle. And so this is a theme of principle. Well, she came around and she's like, I found one disc disc version like I requested, and she's like, it's been on the store for an hour. Are you going to pull the trigger? And I said, fine, let's pull the trigger. So I pulled the trigger and it shows up. So came in 2 days. It was kind of nice.
And then you can play your own, well, not your own. It's not, you didn't make everything in the game. But are you going to actually play it yourself? Because you've been playtesting it already. Anyway, on that note, that you actually work for a games company who I know some people might have heard of, who make a game that has probably got some critical acclaim.
May not be beloved or not. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll never know, really.
Yeah.
On that note, we should be out.